There is a very specific kind of panic that begins the moment your alarm rings in the morning, before your eyes are even fully open, before you have even had a chance to think about the day ahead. Your chest is already tight. Your breath is shallow, caught in the upper half of your lungs. Your muscles are braced, your jaw slightly clenched, as if you are preparing to protect yourself from a physical blow. You reach for your phone, seeking a hit of dopamine to override the dread. And as you scroll through emails and notifications, you feel your heart rate climb even higher. You tell yourself that you are just stressed, that you have a busy day, but the truth is your body is running on a fuel it was never meant to sustain, pure, unadulterated survival. You spend your days looking for a way out of this tension. You try the breathing apps, you buy the supplements, you try to force yourself to meditate, and you repeat positive affirmations in the mirror. But underneath all of these self-care routines, the undercurrent of anxiety remains untouched. It feels like trying to paint over a cracked foundation. You find yourself wondering why your body refuses to cooperate, why your mind is constantly spinning, and why you feel so deeply exhausted even when you are doing everything right. If this is familiar, what you are experiencing is not a broken brain, a chemical imbalance, or a lack of discipline. According to Dr. Gabor Maté's groundbreaking work on trauma and human development, your chronic stress and anxiety are not malfunctions of your nervous system. They are adaptations. They are protective patterns that your body learned long ago to survive an environment where safety was not guaranteed. And until you stop trying to force your body to be quiet and start learning how to speak its language, your nervous system will continue to treat your own life as a war zone. This is not a list of quick fixes or superficial breathing techniques. This is an exploration of why your nervous system is locked in survival, and the single daily shift you can make to finally show your brain that it is safe to let go. For decades, we have been sold a profound lie about what it means to be a healthy, functioning human being. We are told that we should be able to tolerate endless amounts of stress, work 40 hours a week in high-pressure environments, manage family dynamics, ignore our physical fatigue, and remain perfectly calm, rational, and agreeable. When our bodies inevitably protest, when we experience panic attacks, chronic gut issues, brain fog, and relentless anxiety, we treat these symptoms as diseases. We ask ourselves, what is wrong with me? But Gabor Maté's work consistently shows that we must ask a far deeper, more compassionate question. What happened to you? From a trauma-informed perspective, our nervous system baselines are not set by our genes alone. They are sculpted by our earliest relationships. As infants, we are born completely helpless, unable to regulate our own bodies or emotions. We require co-regulation, the safe, warm, and steady presence of an adult caregiver to teach our developing brains that it is safe to rest. When a caregiver is stressed, distracted, emotionally absent, or volatile, the child's nervous system does not receive that crucial signal of safety. To survive in that environment, the child's body must make a choice between its two core needs, attachment and authenticity. Attachment is connection. It is our survival. Authenticity is selfhood. It is our ability to feel our feelings and set our boundaries. When being true to ourselves threatens our connection to our caregivers, when showing anger brings rejection, or having needs makes us a burden, attachment always wins. Your young nervous system made a brilliant protective decision. It chose to suppress your authenticity to secure your connection. The body remembers what the mind was forced to forget. You learn to stay on high alert. You learn to constantly read the room, anticipate needs, and ignore your own physical limits to maintain the peace. Over decades, this state of chronic bracing became your normal baseline. You built a personality around your survival strategies, mistaking your hypervigilance for ambition and your people-pleasing for kindness. So when you try to regulate your nervous system today using cold mechanical protocols, it doesn't work. Your body doesn't trust the calm because, in your past, dropping your guard was the most dangerous thing you could do. Let us look at 3 daily patterns that keep our nervous systems locked in a state of threat. And the third pattern is the deepest, most invisible loop of all. But before we reveal the first pattern, there is an anticipation you must hold. We often think our stress is caused by our busy schedules, but more often it is maintained by how we physically hold ourselves throughout the day. The first daily pattern, keeping you stuck in anxiety, is the practice of chronic somatic bracing. Throughout your day, you are constantly preparing for an emergency that never arrives. You are sitting at your computer, but your shoulders are raised toward your ears. You are driving your car, but your grip on the steering wheel is tight enough to turn your knuckles white. You are standing in line, but your abdominal muscles are held in, your jaw is clenched, and your breath is shallow, trapped in the top third of your lungs. You only realize how tight you are when you finally lie down at night and your body begins to ache from the sheer effort of holding itself up. According to Dr. Gabor Maté, this physical bracing is the posture of a child who is walking on eggshells. If you grew up in an environment where the emotional weather was unpredictable, where you had to constantly monitor your behavior to avoid a parent's anger or disappointment, your nervous system never learned the biological baseline of true rest. It kept your muscles primed for fight or flight because safety was never guaranteed. As an adult, your body is still wearing this childhood armor. This doesn't mean you're broken. It means your mind learned to protect you, that constant physical tension. That is not stress from your modern job. That is intelligence in service of survival, maintaining a protective shield because your nervous system still believes that if you relax, you will be blindsided by pain. But as exhausting as this physical bracing is, there is a second pattern that is even more isolating because it cuts you off from the very signals your body is trying to send you. And this is where the survival strategy turns into a state of physical exile. The second daily pattern is somatic dissociation, the habit of living entirely in your head. You treat your body like a machine that exists to carry your head around. When your stomach hurts, you take a pill to quiet it. When you feel exhausted, you drink more caffeine to override it. When you feel a sudden wave of anxiety or sadness, you immediately escape into your thoughts, overanalyzing the feeling, looking for a logical explanation, or distracting yourself with your phone. You have become incredibly skilled at ignoring your body's warnings until it has no choice but to create a major crisis, a panic attack, a physical collapse, or a chronic illness just to get you to stop. From a trauma-informed perspective, living in your head is a survival-driven escape hatch. When a child's physical and emotional pain is too overwhelming to tolerate, and they have no safe adult to help them process it, the nervous system has only one defense. It numbs the connection between the brain and the body. You learn to dissociate because feeling your physical reality was simply too painful to bear. The body remembers what the mind was forced to forget. Now, as an adult, you are still living in exile from your own flesh, treating your physical symptoms as enemies to be managed rather than as messages to be understood. Not because something was wrong with you, because something was wrong with the environment that made your own body feel like an unsafe place to inhabit. Your chronic overthinking is not a cognitive defect. It is the frantic mental activity of a mind that is terrified of what will happen if it drops its attention down into the quiet pain of its physical body. And this brings us to the deepest, most invisible pattern of all, the one that sits at the very core of your daily anxiety. Before we reveal this final pattern, Consider this. Many people spend years trying to regulate their nervous systems, failing to realize that their anxiety is actually the somatic cost of their own self-abandonment. The third daily pattern, the deepest one, is the suppression of the somatic no. You are someone who automatically prioritizes the comfort, the needs, and the opinions of others over your own. You apologize for taking up space. You say yes when your body is screaming no, and you soften your boundaries to make sure you never cause conflict or disappointment. You have become so attuned to what others need from you that you have completely lost touch with what you need for yourself. You call it kindness. You call it being helpful, easygoing, or empathetic. But according to Dr. Gabor Maté's clinical work, this constant people-pleasing is a chronic physiological stressor. Anger, resentment, and the urge to set a boundary are healthy, biological defense mechanisms. They are designed to arise in our bodies when our limits are crossed, giving us the energy to protect our peace. When you suppress these natural responses to preserve your connection to others, that biological energy does not disappear. It is turned inward. Your anxiety is the physical vibration of the boundary you were too afraid to set. That is not weakness. That is intelligence in service of survival, protecting your attachments in childhood by silencing the voice of your own authenticity. But the price of this survival is that your nervous system remains in a constant state of internal threat. Every time you abandon yourself to keep someone else comfortable, you are telling your body that you are not safe enough to be protected by your own truth. You are not broken. You adapted. You survived environments that required you to go numb, brace yourself, and please others just to stay connected. Your anxiety, your physical tension, and your overthinking are not proofs of your inadequacy. They are the living monuments to your resilience. But you do not have to live on the battlefield anymore. To stop stress and anxiety, we must stop trying to change our nervous systems through force and start practicing what Dr. Maté calls compassionate somatic welcome. The single most powerful thing you can do every day to rewire your brain is to change how you respond to your own discomfort. The next time you feel the wave of anxiety, the tightness in your chest, or the urge to panic, you must stop trying to make it go away. You must stop using breathing exercises as weapons to force your body to be quiet. Instead, you must drop your attention from your racing thoughts down into your physical body. Locate the sensation of stress. Is it a knot in your stomach, a pressure behind your ribs, a tightness in your throat? Place a hand over that physical space. Take a deep, slow breath into that tightness and speak to your own body with the unconditional tenderness of a loving parent. Say to your own physical sensation, I feel how scared you are right now. I feel how tight your chest is. It is okay that you are feeling this. I am right here with you. I am not going to run away, and I am not going to try to force you to change. When you offer your anxiety compassion instead of condemnation, you are doing something revolutionary. You are providing your body with the co-regulation it was denied in childhood. You are showing your nervous system that it no longer has to carry its pain in isolation. You are teaching your brain that you are finally strong enough, mature enough, and safe enough to hold your own vulnerability. And in the presence of genuine safety, the survival responses naturally begin to melt away. This is slow, gentle, and quiet work. It will not change your biology overnight. You will still have mornings where you wake up with a tight chest. You will still have days where you slide back into bracing and people-pleasing, but with every small choice to welcome your discomfort instead of running from it, with every moment you choose your own authenticity over a cheap sense of connection, with every slow breath you offer to your racing heart, You are rewiring your brain. You are showing your cells, your breath, and your mind that the storm has passed, the war is over, and you are finally safe enough to come home. The same body that learned how to brace itself to survive is fully capable of learning how to rest in the quiet sunshine of your presence. You do not have to fight your nature anymore. You just have to let it heal. Which of these three patterns felt the most familiar to you in your daily life? If conversations like this feel valuable, consider subscribing. There is nothing more transformative than understanding the story your body has been telling all along. Self-understanding will not change your past, but it can change the way your past lives inside you. And that changes everything. The hardest part of healing from anxiety is realizing that your panic isn't your enemy. It is the sound of a boundary you were too afraid to set, or a duke you were too afraid to feel. If you saw yourself in these daily patterns, which one has been your heaviest burden, and how can you offer your body more permission to hold it with compassion today? Somatic reset. Stop fighting stress. Safety over calm. Why does trying to regulate your nervous system often leave you feeling more anxious, frustrated, and exhausted? In this deeply validating video inspired by the psychological philosophy of Dr. Gabor Maté, we explore the hidden biology behind why our bodies stay locked in stress and anxiety. Discover the childhood roots of nervous system dysregulation, where we are forced to choose attachment over authenticity, and how suppressed boundaries manifest as chronic physiological tension. We break down 3 daily patterns of survival: chronic somatic bracing, somatic dissociation, and the suppression of the biological no. Learn how to stop treating your anxiety as a disease and start using compassionate somatic welcome to co-regulate your body, rewrite your neural pathways, and build genuine safety from the inside out.